morning. So here we are back at Rainham station, ready to do the final section of the London Outer Orbital Path. Short one, Rainham to Purfleet. Bright, blustery day. Proves to be, I think it's going to be a bit different to the previous ones. A bit more industrial. That's a Eurostar going past. But should be fun, so let's go. Views of HS1, Britain's one and only high-speed railway here, stretching away to the Channel Tunnel in France, and all the industry of this area, just before we go into Rainham marshes and finally find the Thames. Luckily this is not smelly vision, otherwise you'd smell what I smell, which is rubbish. Hundreds of tons of it. There's a landfill that we'll be seeing more of in a minute. And the loop takes us down this relatively overgrown little path between the marshes and the road. Rainham Marshes is a large expanse, previously a firing range. So, got to be careful because unexploded ordnance is still found here. It's also now a nature reserve and was a landfill site, or still is a landfill site. A lot of the nature reserve is actually built on the landfill. And of course we walk down the Thames opposite where we started in Erith. And here, just off the path, is our first view of the Thames. There'll be quite a few more of those, I think, as the rest of this walk unfolds. So walking towards these giant silos, which are the Tilda rice factory. So that's where your basmati rice comes from, if you're into that kind of thing. We'll see more of that in a minute. And this will be the jetty, which they still use to bring supplies in by sea and river. And here we have this collection of concrete barges just abandoned here. And these were towed across the channel on D-Day to assist with the D-Day landings, to form jetties and landing stages. And then in the 1950s they were used for flood defence for London, but now nobody wants them, so they're just left here rotting by the side of the Thames. And here we have this massive waste handling facility. Allegedly carries 100 tons of waste a day and dumps it all on the landfill site behind me, which is not just a landfill site, it's now a nature reserve, as it's been landscaped, but they're still dumping waste there. And what a wonderful view towards the sea from this vantage point. And there across the Thames is Erith, where we started the loop, Erith to Bexley, back in July. It's now October, beginning of October, so we've done it in 3 sections. 2 in July and then 1 in October to finish it off. Seems a long time ago. And here at Cold Harbour Point we have London's only lighthouse. Not a particularly grand affair, but there it is. And there, just across the Thames, is the Darrant flood barrier, where we turned inland towards Bexley 3 months ago. Now walking along the 1980s tidal defence, the last of several dating back to the 11th century. To my left is an area of salt marsh. And it's a nature reserve, although at this time of year you don't see too much. Okay, just getting into the outer reaches of Purfleet. Still a little way to go before the end of the loop officially, but virtually there. We're just crossing Mardyke, which is one of Essex's little known rivers. We're actually in Essex now. Just like on the other side, we were walking along between the border of Greater London and Kent. On this side we've actually crossed that border into Essex. Apparently this floodgate is open most days to let the waters out of the dike into the Thames. And this is an old gunpowder shed. Once again, gunpowder well away from London, down the Thames. And there's the QE2 bridge, which has been in front of us for most of this walk, stretching its way from Essex to Kent. At this point we turn away from the river to the end of the London Outer Orbital Path. And here we are, walking up this final little track. So, over the wind and the noise of the traffic, as the rain starts coming down, here we are in Purfleet, at the end of the London Outer Orbital Path. Rather inauspicious spot by this slightly dilapidated hotel here, but according to the guidebook, this is where it ends. So what a fantastic walk, what a wonderful journey. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have, and I hope you come along with us on the next adventure, which is going to be something quite different. Bye for now.